maybe if you could spend a minute just elaborating a little bit about the wokeness, where it comes from, and who will be held accountable.
Tell me something about your wife that you love.
She's the smartest, most capable, loving, humble, honest person I've ever met. In addition to being incredibly beautiful.
Don't forget about your kids.
I'm supposed to talk about my kids?
No, well, she's also the mother.
Oh, an amazing mother.
Yes.
Of our blended family of 7
Brother,
kids.
I'm pulling you
which
along. I'm trying to help you here.
How many genders are there? Tough one.
Senator, there are 2 genders.
I know that well. I'm a she-he, so I'm on board. How many push-ups can you do?
I did 5 sets of 47 this morning.
All right. Republican senators there taking kind of a soft approach yesterday to Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth in the hearing yesterday. And in just about 30 minutes, President-elect Trump's pick for Attorney General Pam Bondi will face members of the Senate Judiciary Committee on Capitol Hill for her confirmation hearing. Let's bring in the ranking member of that committee, Democratic Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois.
Are you going to ask him how many push-ups he can do?
I want to know if he can tell. All right, Senator Durbin, I do want to ask you about yesterday. I know we're going to talk about Pam Bondi and today in your committee, but what stood out to you from the hearings yesterday for Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth?
There were many good questions, and I have to commend my colleague, Tammy Duckworth. There's hardly a person more qualified to ask someone who wants to be Secretary of Defense what their background is and whether it's good enough for the job. Tammy Duckworth, like so many of our veterans, has sacrificed more than all of us combined. And when she comes to the conclusion that he's unqualified for the job, I take that very seriously.
You know, Senator, I think we all would agree, I think you would agree, that a president that's elected by 77 million Americans usually should have the right. There should be a presumption that that president-elect has the right to put who he wants in to cabinet agencies and to judicial positions. In this case, I must say, though, it seems extraordinary, does it not, that a man who has very little managerial experience and whatever managerial experience he's had has been driving 2 veteran organizations into the ground, according to whistleblower reports, that he would be responsible for the largest, most complicated, and probably most important bureaucracy in American government. How do we get to this point as a country where somebody so woefully ill-equipped to handle that bureaucracy is rubber-stamped by Republicans?
You have a president who will make a decision that Matt Gaetz should have been the leading law enforcement official in the United States of America, and that Kash Patel should be given control of the Federal Bureau of Investigation to solve his political problems. I mean, the bottom line is neither of those persons are qualified, and certainly Mr. Hegseth raises questions about his qualifications. And you just wonder, if you want to be president of the United States and you want a team that you're proud of that can execute your policy, you want people who are credible, and none of those people are really credible.
Senator Durbin, good morning. Let's zero in on the hearing for Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi. In particular, much has been made of Donald Trump's wish for the Department of Justice to carry out a campaign of retribution against his political foes and the like. What sort of questions do you want to pose to her about that particular topic? How grave of a concern is it?
Well, it's a very grave concern, and here's the bottom line. Pam Bondi is eminently qualified as a lawyer to be the Attorney General. 10 years in Florida and her own private practice. I mean, she has the legal resume for the job. The question is, does she have the courage and the strength to say no to Donald Trump? What happens to an Attorney General under Donald Trump who says no? We have, unfortunately, a history to look to. When it came to that situation, you had first Jeff Sessions, who was fired because he said no to Donald Trump, and then Bill Barr, who was fired. The question is whether Pam Bondi has courage to say to Donald Trump, what you want to do is wrong, it's illegal, it's unconstitutional, you should not do it, even if he doesn't want to hear that conclusion.
And on that, I mean, she was a supporter of his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. What would you want? Was there anything she could say today to explain that, to assuage that, to sort of offer any sort of comfort that she would be willing, to your point, to say no to the President of the United States if he asks her to do something potentially illegal?
I'm going to give her that chance. The questioning that I have is going to let her clear the record on some of the bizarre positions she's taken and whether she believes, as she chanted at the Republican National Committee, lock her up is the philosophy when it comes to her Federal Bureau of Investigation and Department of Justice. Let's put her on the record under oath as to what she would do as Attorney General. That's the best we can hope for.
Let's talk about Joe Biden. He's going to be giving his farewell address tonight. Curious what your thoughts are on the Biden legacy as he moves towards January the 20th. And also, let's talk about something you're very proud of, the number of federal judges that Joe Biden has appointed and that the Senate's confirmed.
Yes, I can tell you, I went to the floor yesterday and spoke about the accomplishments of the Biden administration. I'm sure other colleagues will join me in that effort, too. But whether we're talking about putting an end to the COVID epidemic, building this economy back after the devastation of that event, whether we're talking about his whole issue on inflation, the Anti-Inflation Act that created an opportunity for energy savings, and for environmental responses, is mobilizing NATO across the board to confront Putin in Ukraine. It's a long list and a strong list. I'm proud of what Joe did. I can disagree with one thing or the other, but I think he's been a great president.
All right, Democratic Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois, thank you very much. We'll be watching the hearing, of course, which starts in about 25 minutes. Thanks for being on this morning.